Hello, I'm Abby Huntsman, and you are in the strategy room. Well, Trump is well on his way to becoming the next GOP nominee. And if history is any indication, every presidential candidate who has won both New Hampshire and South Carolina has gone on to take the party's nomination. So the big question now, can anyone take on the Donald? Here to weigh in, our Democratic strategist Douglas Smith in D.C., and with me on set, Republican strategist Jay Townsend. Welcome to both of you. And Jay, I'll start with you. After Saturday, Donald Trump certainly has the momentum. He has got the delegates. Question is he going to slow down, and who's going to stop that?
Good question. But if history's any guide, there will be some more interesting moments in this campaign. I'm old enough to have lived through a few. Jerry Ford won the first 6 primaries in 1976, and he was considered inevitable. And then Ronald Reagan won in one of the Carolina states, and within a month everything had changed, and that contest went down to a convention ballot. In 1976, Jimmy Carter and Jerry Brown fought it out until the very bitter end in California. So the 1968 Democratic primary was not over until it was over. So I'd say if you look at this and say, yeah, it's easy sitting here without a view backwards to say, yeah, he certainly has the momentum. Can he be stopped? And the answer is, of course.
Douglas, I'd love your response to that as the Democrat in this conversation.
Sure.
How are Democrats watching this play out from afar? Is this something that you would want to happen? Would you like a Donald Trump nomination? Do you think that bodes well for Democrats longer term, or could that potentially hurt Hillary Clinton?
I mean, I, for one, hope for it. I mean, I think Donald Trump is 140 character tweet away from an absolute train wreck. I mean, I think it's been fascinating to watch. It is tremendous television. The entertainment value is staggering. But I think if it comes down to a one-on-one matchup between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, I think Donald Trump needs to look back at what happened to Rick Blasio when he ran against Hillary when she ran for Senate. You know, his bravado works really well, but it's going to come to a time when he's going to actually have to say something. I mean, right now, it is entertaining. I follow his Twitter feed. Those 140 characters that come out, you know, stream of consciousness all day long, make for great TV.
Yeah.
But the day is about to come upon him where he's actually going to have to say something. You know, I think Jay makes a great point. The one thing I would say is that his fellow Republicans running against him are no Ronald Reagan, and I think that's his biggest benefit, is that neither Ted Cruz nor Marco Rubio have the the persona or the personality that Ronald Reagan did. So I mean, I really think his greatest enemy still to date is himself.
Jay, you were nodding your head when he was talking about Donald Trump having a lot of entertaining tweets, but what is really behind all that? Where is the substance? And as you know, the establishment has made it pretty clear that they are not thrilled about a potential Donald Trump nomination. Talk to us about this divide within the party, because clearly the primary voters, majority of them, are wanting this, and yet you have the establishment of the party that's saying, no, this is not where we want to be right now.
Yeah, and the reason is, I don't know that it's necessarily as issue positions. The questions about Donald Trump among the establishment is, who is this guy who would sit up in the middle of the night and pick on a Fox News reporter? Who is this guy who would constantly shoot down at people who criticize him when you really do have to be bigger than that? And what is bothering the establishment? We can handle so-called somebody who doesn't like trade agreements. We can handle someone who says we need secure borders. That's not the problem. It is his personality, his quirkiness. Are we ready for 4 years of this? Now, here's the ultimate question. You have a 3-person race right now, but when it becomes, at some point, a 2-person race, let me tell you now that the one who has negatives in the stratosphere is going to start placing second. And he does, and that also bothers a lot of people. If I were Hillary Clinton right now, yeah, I think I'd want Donald Trump or Ted Cruz, perhaps, to be my opponent, because Rubio has the ability to bridge gaps that neither one of them can.
Interesting. Douglas, another big news that came out of Saturday night was Jeb Bush dropping out of the race with a poor showing there. What do you think the impact of that will be? Where will his supporters go? Who will it help?
Yeah, it's interesting you asked that. I had dinner Saturday night with one of his biggest national bundlers.
Oh, just name drop there, huh?
Interesting guy. But he shed something that I thought was fascinating. I mean, he basically is going to take his ball and go home. He is so disgusted by the process that watching what is going on, I mean, he basically said if Trump is the nominee or Cruz is the nominee, that look for him to host a Hillary Clinton fundraiser. And I thought that was fascinating because this is a guy who was all in. And he said a lot of the serious Bush people feel that way. I mean, they're serious thinkers. And you know, whether you like Jeb or not, no one contests the fact that he wasn't a serious thinker.
Right.
He may not have been the most exciting or entertaining, we know that, but he was a serious thinker. And I think, you know, that's the challenge that the Republicans are going to face, is that Donald Trump is not a serious thinker. He says whatever he is thinking about, and it is great TV, but it's not how to lead the country. And I think in time, it's just going to insult people, because there are a lot of people, Democrats and Republicans alike, that agree that America is the greatest. Well, can we be greater? We can always be greater, but America is the greatest.
You could definitely
and that's
see
Trump's problem.
That's right. You could definitely see that on Jeb Bush's face when he got out on Saturday. I think a part of him was very relieved. Douglas Smith and Jay Townsend, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. And for complete coverage of the 2016 presidential race, check out foxnews.com. I'm Abby Huntsman. Thanks for watching.